Can I say something that might annoy you a little? You have to stop mourning your youth like it was your peak. I know, that sounds harsh. But hear me out, because I've caught myself doing it too. Scrolling through old pictures, looking at my face, my body, my energy, the way I used to laugh without calculating how I looked doing it. And there's this quiet thought that slips in. I was better then. More attractive, more hopeful, more open, less tired. And the dangerous part? It doesn't even feel dramatic. It feels logical, like you're just being honest with yourself. But are you? Or are you romanticizing a version of yourself that didn't know what was coming? Let's talk about it. Here's what nobody really prepares you for. You don't just age physically, you age emotionally. You carry things, experiences, disappointments, losses, realizations you didn't ask for. And when you look back at your younger self, you're not just seeing smoother skin or more energy, you're seeing someone who hadn't been tested yet. And that's what you miss. You miss the innocence, the ignorance, the belief that everything was still possible. Back then, you thought time was unlimited. You thought you had years to figure it out. You thought the right relationship would fix everything. You thought the career path would magically unfold. You thought confidence would just arrive. And now, you know better. You know relationships are work. You know time moves fast. You know confidence is built, not gifted. And that awareness can feel heavy. So when you say you miss your youth, sometimes what you're really saying is, I miss not knowing how hard life can be. That's honest. But let me ask you something. Would you actually trade your current awareness for that ignorance? Would you go back to not knowing your worth? Back to tolerating behavior you'd never accept now? Back to chasing validation from people who didn't even like themselves? Because that was part of your youth too. We don't just mourn the glow, we conveniently forget the confusion. You weren't walking around back then thinking, this is my prime. You were insecure about something, your body, your future, your relationships. You thought you were behind even then. It's funny how perspective works. You always think the current moment isn't enough until it's gone. Here's something I had to admit to myself. I wasn't mourning my youth. I was avoiding responsibility for my present. Because if the best days are behind you, then you don't have to build new ones. If your peak already happened, then you're off the hook. You can just exist. You can blame time. You can blame aging. You can blame it's just not the same anymore. But if this stage of your life still holds potential, now you have to show up. Now you have to evolve. And that's harder than nostalgia. Nostalgia is comfortable. Growth is demanding. Let's be real for a second. Yes, your body changes. Yes, your energy shifts. Yes, you recover slower than you used to, but you also see through nonsense faster. You leave situations quicker. You trust your intuition more. You know who you are, or at least who you're not. That's not decline. That's refinement. And refinement doesn't look flashy. It looks grounded. It looks quieter. But it's stronger. Here's the part I want you to really hear. Youth was potential. This stage, this is power. Back then, you had possibilities. Now you have perspective. Back then, you had energy. Now you have discernment. Back then, you hoped you'd become someone solid. Now you are someone who's been through something. There's weight in that. And weight isn't always a burden. Sometimes it's stability. You don't get shaken as easily. You don't crumble over small things. You don't chase every opportunity just because it sparkles. You choose. That's maturity. And maturity isn't glamorous. It's intentional. You don't have to pretend you love every part of aging. That would be fake. But you also don't have to treat it like a funeral. Your youth isn't dead. It evolved. It integrated. It turned into something more layered. And honestly, the most attractive thing about someone isn't their age. It's their presence, their depth, their self-awareness. You couldn't fake that at 20. You just didn't have enough life yet. So let me ask you something directly. If you woke up tomorrow with the same body you had at 20, but the same mindset you had back then too, would you actually feel powerful? Or would you feel lost again? Be honest. Because we tend to want the physical reset without the emotional regression. And it doesn't work like that. You can't keep the wisdom and rewind the timeline. Life doesn't offer that trade. So instead of mourning what changed, what if you mastered what's here? What if this is the stage where you become dangerous in the best way? Not reckless, not impulsive, but intentional, clear, self-owned. That kind of presence, it doesn't fade with age, it sharpens. And here's what most people won't admit. Sometimes we cling to mourning our youth because it's easier than confronting our current dissatisfaction. It's easier to say, I used to be happier, than to ask, why am I not building happiness now? That's uncomfortable. That requires action. And action requires risk. So maybe this isn't about age at all. Maybe it's about whether you're willing to evolve again. Because the next version of you isn't behind you, it's ahead. And it's going to require letting go of the idea that your best days already happened. In the next video, we need to talk about something connected to this, because once you stop mourning your youth, you're going to feel something else rise up. Anger. Not the explosive kind, the clarifying kind. And that's where things really start to shift.